My name is Marcicas Long. I work for the Oklahoma Blood Institute Be The Match program. And Be The Match is a registry that connects patients that have a blood-related disease with life-saving donors. And we're looking for someone who has the same markers on their cells as the patient so that they can get a blood transplant. And the unfortunate part about it is that there are thousands of patients that pass away because there's no one on the registry to match them. And our mission is to make a difference. For every patient that needs a transplant, receive one. So with the funds, what we're planning to do is to expand the awareness of Be The Match. Half the problem is nobody knows what Be The Match is. No one knows that by a simple donation that you can go and cure somebody's disease. The bottom line of it is how much of a difference that impacts the patients. The more people we get on the registry, the greater opportunity it is for those patients. There are people that are passing away because they never get this opportunity. And it's because people don't know. I think if more people knew about the Be The Match registry, the greater opportunity it is that they would get on the registry and say, hey, I'm willing to donate. And how awesome would that be to know that you are the only person in the world that could save somebody. Wow, what a privilege that would be, you know. So I tell anybody, get on the registry. If it's something that you need to think about it. Ask questions, get the facts about it, and step up and help somebody. You know, you may be their only chance to have a healthy life, you know. Why not be that one? Why not be that person?
My name is Nicole Howard, and I am one of the co-founders of 10 Strong. We're all a group of moms that had went through cancer with one of our own kids. So I personally had a child up here in treatment back in September of 2014 with JMML. It's a rare form of leukemia. Sadly, he passed away in March at 11 months old. March of 2015, that is. So you just kind of need that support and stuff, and that's kind of what started this whole thing, 10 Strong.
We just come up here because we understand what it's like to be up here and to fight, and you just want something to give you that hope. And the kids look forward to us coming up here every Wednesday, so that's why we do what we do.
After my son passed away, her and I got pretty close and started talking. About 2 months later, we were like, yeah, let's do something on a regular basis. It was probably the most memorable experience we had made while we were here in treatment for 6 months. And I hadn't really met anybody or talked to anybody, and so we were looking for something to help families make more memories. Get them out of their room, get to know people, get to know us, and just be there for support in general. 2.5 years now, we've been coming up here every single Wednesday, about 2 to 3 hours a night, and we rotate out different events. There's a lot of kids that touch our heart, and and then we end up losing them too at the same time. So that can make a big impact on us. But knowing that we'll have something to help us out in the future, that we can always keep going. And this started out of our own pockets. I mean, Beth and I, and then some of the other moms that would come up. I mean, we were just a 20 here and there, just throwing it in the pot. It's good. I mean, it's hard. It's still, it's still hard walking in here every day, knowing what my son was in, other moms and things like that. But that's why we're so committed to it.
I'm Ben Dash. This is our daughter Olivia.
Aiden. And I'm Sarah.
So Aiden was born with Down syndrome, which has a lot of common complications in early development. So he has a hole in his atrioventricular septum, and he also has a combination of heart symptoms that's called tetralogy of Fallot, and we're trying to get him big and as healthy as we can before heart surgery. So with heart surgery, they'll patch the septal defect, and they'll also put in a patch so that the aorta is just picking up from the left ventricle.
I think it's really been hard getting used to all of the health issues that are going to come with, not just the heart defects, but with having Down syndrome as well. And I think being a special ed teacher, I kind of know some of what's to come, or what could possibly come with the Down syndrome. I think it's been hard.
We were planning on having him in daycare, and that's not really an option until he's healthier. So, so there are expenses that add up, and unforeseen expenses can be hard to absorb, and at this level, it's really hard to absorb.
We didn't expect it.
Right. For a little bit there, it was like 4 or 5 doctor's appointments a week. When I started at North, I came up and I was like, wow, these decorations are awesome. This is cool. And then as the week went on, I was a little like, students can pay to leave class? what is going on? And how do you teach during this? And so I went, and I was talking to a teacher who I kind of expected him to be like, yeah, I know, right? And so he heard me, listened to me, and then afterwards was kind of like, yeah, that's true. But my daughter's family was a SPUD recipient a couple years back, and it made such a difference in their lives that my entire family will be forever in the debt and grateful.
I'm Amanda Vermillion, and this is Emily Vermillion. And Keith Vermillion was my husband and her dad. We have been married almost 14 years. We were high school sweethearts, went to college together, and then had Emily about 6 years ago. His passion was his coaching and teaching, and was something that meant a lot to him. In December of 2014, kind of out of the blue, we were told that Keith had stage 4 esophageal cancer. At that point, he had to retire from teaching to undergo chemotherapy and radiation treatments. And unfortunately, in October of 2017, just about 2 months ago, Keith passed away from complications of his cancer. It had spread again. We had a really great 3 years together and made a lot of good memories. So it's been a really difficult few months for us, but before he passed away, he was able to read all of the nomination letters for the SPUD Award, which meant the absolute world to him. He was a coach and a big, strong guy, but he actually got emotional reading those because they were his former students, and it just meant so much to him that he had an impact, and that the Norman community still remembered him and was here for us. It's been very difficult since he passed away, so it's been harder than we expected to get through it, but we've been surrounded by family, and we know that we have a really good support system. It's just going to be a new change for it just to be Emily and I. The SPUD funds mean the world to us. It's going to allow the money that we've spent out of our savings into medical bills and then into funeral costs and things like that to be able to provide for Emily ongoing, and to give me that that peace of mind that there is support and there is help to get her through in the future. And also it will allow us to find ways to pay it forward and to carry on Keith's memory. He chose every day to make the most of it and to be happy, and that's something that we hope others take inspiration. It definitely stays with me every day now, and it's hard to keep going as I just remember how positive he was throughout the whole process and when he didn't feel well. So that's something that we hope everyone remembers about him and takes inspiration from.
We're the Yanch family and Kennedy. My name is Jeff. This is Jordan. And that's Winter. And this is Zach. And the big part of our story that's happened recently is Zach was diagnosed with sclerosing osteosarcoma. It was in his right femur. And if you can see that on the camera, the femur is no longer in his leg. What do we call your foot?
Zachward's foot.
We call it his Zachward's foot. We found out that Zach was diagnosed with cancer on July 14th of this year, which just happened to be the same day that we moved into this house. We got the phone call from the doctor as we were driving to close on this house. It was a very long day. So it's been a
Rough 6 months.
been a rough 6 months. Right, buddy?
In between all of
In
that,
between.
there's the chemotherapy, and we traveled to Florida for Zach's operation. Our osteosarcoma is an incredibly aggressive cancer, so his chemotherapy schedule is very regimented, and we've been in the hospital more often than we've spent in this house since we moved in. So, and of course the operation and loss of excellent mobility for Zach too.
Yeah. So the SPUD funds will be going towards Zach's treatment, obviously. Chemotherapy and week-long hospitalizations are not cheap. It'll go towards travel
Prosthetics.
and prosthetics. So travel for follow-ups. Zach will need at least one prosthetic every year, basically until he's done growing.
His school, Cleveland Elementary, the teachers there who nominated us, Zach's only been able to go to school for 5 half days this year because of chemotherapy, and then his counts, he can't leave the house even more.
So how many do you have left? 8 chemos left.
8 chemos.
Yeah.
Can you tell them your name?
Braxton
What's your last name?
Young.
Braxton Young, and I'm Lisa Young. We had adopted him when he was born, and my husband's name is Brian. So he just turned 6, and when he was 3 months old, I had noticed that he was not using his left arm. And so kind of watched him to see what he was doing, and he just was not using the left side at all. So they sent us to a physical therapist for a consult, and she said we need to get an MRI immediately, or sent us to a neurologist, but at about 8 months old. And he was diagnosed, and what he has is cerebral palsy with open lip schizencephaly. Layman's terms, he has a part of the brain that just never did develop. And so my husband and I decided that we would just take a very proactive stance on this, and just decided that he would be able to do anything that anybody else could do. It just might look differently. So it devastated my husband because he always wanted. He was very sports oriented, and he's a very persistent little boy even at 6 months of age. And our therapist said that he's kind of a self-treater. He would start something and would not stop until he got it. So I think that's part of why he's done so well.
I want people to understand what joining Be the Match means. It makes a difference not only for that person, but their family. You're saving someone's mom, someone's dad, someone's grandmother, someone's sister, someone's brother, just by donating.
Very honored. My husband was principal here for years, and he was very active in SPUD, and we were up here over spring break, and he'd have the sleepovers. He absolutely loved it, so I just felt very, very honored to have that, and I'm very fortunate. So.
It's great. It really is an honor whenever somebody wants to do something like this for us, and it really tremendously helps us out because anything financially, can really stress you out, and to not think that we can come up here, can't come up here, and do what we do. I mean, it's kind of like a given that we're going to be here, and we don't ever want to disappoint them that, oh, we can't do this because we don't have the money to. So,
I'm completely overwhelmed with gratitude, of course. Just the support I work at Alcott, so just the support from them has been really awesome. And then to find out that we got nominated for this was just, it's really awesome to have that support from both of our schools and from the district as a whole. It's been really great.
And finding out we were awarded was just a bright spot during a really rough few weeks right after he had passed. So we were humbled and honored. We're so appreciative, and it really was some uplifting news during a really difficult time.
We didn't really understand what it was about until the school nominated us, it sounds like. It's just such a great program. I've read so many things about it online since we were nominated. I'm so excited to go to the assemblies and meet everybody else.
I guess you don't really know how much it actually helps when you're on the other side of it.